Well, hey there. Welcome, everybody. I'm actually recording again this week a dual podcast and a masterclass in the 5-day fitness and can't even remember what it's called, 5-day fitness motivation and mindset challenge, simply because this actually worked so well a couple of weeks ago and you guys said you all loved it. And there was a really important subject that I wanted to talk about today. And I just thought, you know what, this would make not only such a good podcast, it would actually make a really, really good masterclass for the 5-day fitness mindset motivation challenge. So if you're listening on the podcast, hey there, welcome to the Kim Constable Podcast. If you are watching me here in the mindset group, then welcome. I have a really important message for you today, which I can't wait to share with you. So what am I going to waffle on about today? I know you Americans all love the word waffle. It's a very Northern Irish word. You say, oh my God, she just waffled on. And all the Americans always message me and go, what does waffling mean? Like waffling means that you're just like talking about a lot of crap, basically talking a lot of shite, as we would say in Northern Ireland. So what am I going to waffle on about today? Well, the 4-week shredded body challenge is in full swing at the minute. We are right in the middle of onboarding week. Loads of you will have heard me talk about the 4-week shredded body, but let me just give you a little update as to what happened recently. Well, last Wednesday, I noticed that the sales emails that we were sending out, asking people, did they want to enroll in the 4-week shredded body challenge? I noticed that I didn't get one on Wednesday morning, or maybe it was Thursday morning. And I messaged Jamie, my director of operations, and I said to her, I didn't get an email this morning. Can you just check and see why? So she checked the campaign. She said, yeah, I can see that the emails didn't go out. I'm not sure why. So we did a bit of investigation. And then I found an email in my inbox from Keep, K-E-A-P. Keep used to be Infusionsoft, which is our email management software that we use. I found an email from them saying, we have permanently disabled your account because it violates our terms and conditions or violates something or whatever, or it's some kind of sending activity isn't, what we need or want for an account of your standing, and we permanently disabled your account. And now this has happened quite a lot in the past, because whenever you have an email list as big as we have, and you do as many lead magnets as we do, and you have freebies and downloads, whatever, no matter how much you try and do that, CAPTCHA, that thing we have to do like 2 + 2 = 4, and you have to confirm you're not a bot, and you have to click all those squares and things. That's to confirm that you're not a bot, right? That's why we have that, because what happens is bots can attach themselves to your email or to your opt-in forms on your website. And then if they can manage to infiltrate your opt-in form, somehow I think they can infiltrate your email list, and not only yours, but other people who are in the same sending pod as you within Keep's system, I guess. I don't really know how it works, but if bots can attach themselves there, then they can wreak havoc with your email list and with other people's email lists. Now we scrub our list continually. Like we have deleted, I think we've deleted something like 200,000 contacts off our list who were unengaged or hadn't opened an email in, I think we now have like a 30-day policy. If you haven't opened an email in 30 days, you get deleted from our list. So a lot of people are like, I don't know why I'm not on the list anymore. And quite often it's just that they haven't engaged with anything on the list. And it really hurts our sending power if you're on our list and you haven't engaged in anything. So just as a little side note, if you want to remain on our list, please do open the emails or click on the links inside them just periodically, just to keep you engaged on the list, because not only are Keep really clamping down on this, but so are Microsoft and Gmail and Hotmail and Outlook and Apple. They're all clamping down because spam email is becoming so bad, and these bots are becoming so sophisticated that they're all really clamping down. So what happened was last Wednesday, we got this email to say that they had shut us down because something to do with bots or whatever had infiltrated our list and had damaged something within the pod, I feel like the IP address. And so we needed to take immediate action. Like I said, this has happened loads of times before. We take an immediate action, and we've done everything they've said. We've scrubbed our list again. We use this thing called Clean 13, which is something which scans your email list and identifies bots, and we had removed them. But whatever had happened this day anyway, it really was bad. But this time it was really, really bad in terms of what had happened. We actually then had to reach out to an outside marketing team. We had to pay several $1,000s to them. Jamie, who manages our list, is like an Infusionsoft partner and expert. So there's nothing she doesn't know, or so she thought, but she learned a hell of a lot from this new company. So the long and short of it is we haven't actually been able to send out an email to anyone on our list, not reminder emails, not program delivery emails, nothing since last Wednesday. And this is now Tuesday, the 19th of September. So it's almost 7 days and we haven't sent out an email. Now, why? We think we're going to have it up and running again tomorrow, though, Wednesday the 20th. Why is this relevant? Because we were supposed to close the 4-week Shredded Body program last weekend. We always have a hard cart close, and it's usually just before onboarding week starts. We're right in the middle of onboarding week at the minute. We're doing tutorials and demos and meal prep demos and gym demos and training to failure demos, and we're doing Q&As, and there's so much happening in the group this week. I also did loads of coaching in the group last week as well, in masterclasses and things. But we should have had a hard cart close on Monday, but we weren't able to because we couldn't send out the last chance emails. And there's loads of people who don't join until the last chance emails. We make the most sales in any program on the first day the cart opens and the last day because people just procrastinate. Now, I understand procrastination. I'm not here to judge you for procrastinating, but people do procrastinate. So, as I always preach, though, failure is how we learn. And actually, this has been a really, really good thing for the company because it's made us really tighten up our email marketing practices and dig deep into what is working right now and what's not working right now. So it's been a good thing, but it was also meant that it was extremely painful during this launch because we weren't able to wrap up the launch and just focus on the group from Monday. We are still in launch period because we couldn't close the cart. So the cart is now closing this Sunday, which I think is the 24th. So by Monday morning, the cart will be closed. We won't allow anyone else to enter the program. But it's also meant that it's given me a few extra days to do some lives and some masterclasses and answer some questions for those who are still procrastinating about joining the program. So this email in the brain, this podcast stroke masterclass is actually for you, the person listening or watching, who has really thought about joining the program, but is procrastinating. And you're maybe procrastinating because you are scared of failing. Now, I have seen this coming up in the groups so many times. I have answered countless posts from people saying, I really, really, really want to join the 4-week Shredded Body because they know that the coaching is going to be amazing and the resources we're giving is amazing. And they're getting Extreme Body Makeover, which retails at $1,000. They're getting that for free with the purchase. So loads of people are saying, I really want to join the group. I want to have a chance at winning the money. I want to have a chance at joining the group energy. I want to join it, but I'm just so scared that if I pay the money, I will fail again. And I saw this so often that it really made me think, why are people scared of failing? Because it's not something that I have really genuinely struggled with a lot of my life. I don't fear failure. I walk into failure. I've never been afraid of failing. I mean, I'm sure I have in different areas, but not in anything big. I just jump in, take the bull by the horns, and just go for it whenever it's something that I really want. So it wasn't something that I could really try on easily. But because it is a very common problem that I'm seeing amongst women, I just thought I need to figure this out. I need to dig into it, and I need to understand what it is that these women are afraid of so that I can really help them to overcome this and to make a decision. And so I sat for ages before I recorded this podcast and before I went live in this masterclass, just thinking about why would someone be scared of failing? And I this is what I do whenever I record these masterclasses and I plan them. I try to think of a time in my life when I was scared of failing. And then I really try on what was I feeling at that time, or why do I keep purchasing programs? Or when have I purchased programs in the past and I haven't followed through? And why have I not followed through? And it really brought me back to, I guess, I was going to say about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. It's actually not. It's been happening continually in the last 2 years. So about 2 years ago in July 2021, I, by accident, got back into horse riding. My daughter had, loads of you have heard different stories around this, but she got really, really good at riding. She always rode ponies at mum's. She was showing a massive amount of promise. And so I decided to buy her a top class competition pony. Now, the competition pony I bought her was far too advanced for her. And Trevor, who trains me, told me this whenever I bought it. And I was like, no, I want the pony. I will ride the pony, because I've been riding horses my entire life. So anyway, I insisted on buying this top class competition pony. Of course, the pony was too advanced for my daughter. So I then started riding him, and then I was looking for another pony for her. It turns out now we have 4 horses, soon to be 5. I think I'm going to look at another one this week. But I then ended up buying myself a competition horse, very expensive competition horse. And I decided I was going to get back into 3-day eventing, which I have. I did 1 international last year. I've done 4 internationals this year, which are big 3-day international competitions. And I've been out eventing, 2 seasons now and absolutely loving it. So I had this goal that I wanted to ride horses again. And not only that I wanted to ride horses, I started riding horses again. And I do have a goal that I would like to ride at Badminton Horse Trials. Now, Badminton Horse Trials is probably arguably the biggest 3-day event, 5-star 3-day event in the world. I mean, to ride there, to have a horse that's capable of riding there and to be able to ride there yourself as a rider is an enormous accolade. So that is kind of my long-term goal for this. So as I started to ride horses and I started to event, which is, show jumping, dressage and cross country. So you have to be pretty good in all 3 disciplines. Of course, I began to recognize all of my failures in dressage, my failures in cross country, my failures in show jumping. Because as I got out there and I started to learn and push, I realized where I was failing. So since I started riding again, I would say, since I started eventing again, which is probably 18 months ago now, of course, I keep buying horse courses online to teach me different things. And the first one that I bought was, I was on the treadmill one morning doing my cardio and I was just skimming through Facebook and an ad came up for a cross-country course, cross-country mastermind by a rider that I had followed for years and years called Lucinda Green. Now, of course, Lucinda since then has become one of my best friends because that's what I do. I just befriend people. I helped her with her latest launch of her new program and her business partner, Rachel. They become really good friends. And I went to Badminton Horse Trials this year by invitation of Lucinda and got incredible director's passes and everything. But that's a side note. So I'm on the treadmill and I am scrolling through Facebook and I see this course for Lucinda Green's cross-country course. And I'm like, oh, that's what I need. Oh, I want to learn to be a better cross-country rider. And who else is going to teach me to ride cross-country better than Lucinda Green? So without even thinking about it, I clicked on it. I flicked down to the bottom to see the price. I was like, oh, wow, it's expensive, but it's not that expensive. It was like $297, I think. And I was like, oh, well, I won't able to. I was like, yeah, fuck it. So I bought it, right? $297. And immediately I logged in and I started watching the first couple of videos. I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. This is amazing. And then, of course, after I watched a couple of videos on the treadmill, I thought, well, I'll watch more tomorrow when I'm on the treadmill. To get on the treadmill the next day, opened up the course, started watching a few more videos. And then the next day when I was on the treadmill, I thought, oh, I'll watch some more. And then I thought, well, I can't really today because I have something else I needed to do. And then the next day there was something else I needed to do. And then the next week it seemed that I just, I watched another couple, but kind of my initial enthusiasm left me, right? And I think I got about a 16th of a way through the course. I think I watched about the first 6 videos. I never attended any of the coaching calls. I never attended any of the live Q&As. I never interacted in the Facebook group. I spent $297 and I literally watched 6 videos, even though I was so excited to join Lucinda's program, and I never continued on with it. Until the next program came along. And that was one day I was, again, scrolling through Facebook. You know how it happens. You guys have all seen it with my Facebook ads. The ad comes up and you go, oh my God, this looks amazing. I would love this. You know, this girl I'd been following on Instagram for ages. She's like a horse whisperer and she was able to do these incredible things with her horses and ride them bridleless and get them to lie down, and she can sit on top of them and she teaches them all these tricks and whatever. And like that level of trust with a horse is unbelievable. And she's a really, really good dressage rider. So again, she had opened her course and I saw it was closing and it was closing. And one day she was like, for a limited time only, you get a discount on it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to buy this. So, and I'm looking at her doing these amazing things with these horses. And I'm thinking, I could learn how to do that. I can imagine if you could get your horse to lie down, imagine how amazing that would be. And you're so sold with the promise of what is possible. And so I went on and her course was a little more expensive. It was maybe like $497. I was like, ooh, $497. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I'm rich, I can afford it. I didn't really think that, but I was like, ooh, $497. Right, okay, well, it's fine. Like, I'm going to do this course. And so again, I bought it and I turned on the computer whenever I was cooking one day and I was watching the videos, and I watched one in bed and then I watched one when I was cooking and I didn't watch any more. That was it. 2 videos out of an entire online library of courses. And I managed to watch 2 videos of the $497 program. This has been a continuous theme of mine since I decided that I was going to ride horses again. I watch horse videos, short horse videos on Instagram. I read posts on Instagram. I consume very short how-to tutorials on Instagram. I have a very good friend who's one of the most prolific online equestrian coaches in the world. Her name is Amelia Newcomb. Amelia has sent me access to every single course that she has. Whenever I bring a problem to her and I'm like, oh, I just want to learn, flying changes better, she'll say, I have a whole course on that. She'll send me a whole course on flying changes. Have I ever watched the course on flying changes? Never mind actually put in the practice to learn the flying changes? No, never. And so as I was sitting thinking here, why do my people feel like, scared of failing? Why do they not want to spend the money to purchase the 4-week Shredded Body program? Because I'm going, everything in this program, like it has everything they need. All they have to do is show up, and all they have to do is attend the coaching calls, and all they have to do is download the resources, and all they have to do is watch the masterclasses, and all they have to do is set their alarm and get up in the morning and do their cardio, and they have a chance to win $10,000. And I kept saying to myself, but all they have to do is, but all I had to do was watch some goddamn videos. All I had to do was, and the videos weren't even long of these courses that I bought. All I had to do was make time to watch the videos, and I didn't do it. Just like people who've purchased my programs in the past haven't actually followed through on the program, or they've gotten to the first week, or they've done the first couple of days, or kind of like me with the riding programs, the equestrian programs, really only scratched the surface. And then I just gave up. And that is what happens with a lot of people with my Sculpted Vegan programs. They buy every single program and they either scratch the surface of it, or they get 1 week in or 2 weeks in, and then they just fall off the wagon and they fail. So whenever they're looking at Extreme Body Maker, whenever they're looking at the 4-week Shredded Body program, they're looking at all of these amazing things that the program contains, just like I'm looking at all of the amazing things that is contained in these equestrian programs. And they're thinking, oh my God, if only I could show up and actually do the work, I know that this would be phenomenal. But I also have data on myself that I have bought all of these courses and never followed through on them. So I could spend the money on this program and actually just have another failure. So what I realized is that it's not that people are scared of failing, it's that they're scared of having another reference point of their continued failure. Because now whenever I see programs that are equestrian programs coming up my Facebook feed, and I think, oh, I really want to buy that. There was another one recently, the TRT method, I think. Tristan Tucker, a guy, I haven't befriended him yet, but I will, I'm sure. So Tristan Tucker, his TRT method keeps coming up in my newsfeed. And the other day I was about to buy it and I looked at it and I was like, do I really need another equestrian program that I am not going to make the time to follow? Because I have all the excuses in the world, right? I'm a very busy person. I mean, I'm busier than anyone I've ever met. I run a big company. I have 4 homeschool kids. I train in the gym 4 times a week. I ride my horses semi-professionally. Like I'm a very busy person. So, I mean, it's understandable, right? That I wouldn't have the time to watch the videos because I'm a very, very busy person. But what I realized was it wasn't that I'm a very busy person, and that's why I didn't buy another program. Sorry, Tristan, didn't buy your TRT method, but it was because I realized that another program would just be one more representation of work that I wasn't doing. And I don't know that I'm ready to actually confront. My ego is not ready to confront the failed part of myself that has all of this, like these, what is it they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, my road to hell is paved with equestrian programs. Just like your road to hell is probably paved with unfollowed through Sculpted Vegan programs, right? Or other fitness programs. But here's the thing. Why do we not follow through? Like, it isn't that I didn't follow through because I am a really, really, really busy person, right? I am a very busy person, but I actually also make time for those things that are important to me, as do you. So why is it that you're buying my programs and I'm buying equestrian programs and neither of us are actually following through with the program? Well, I believe it's because for me anyway, and I don't know if this is true for you, but I hadn't actually made a considered decision to purchase any of the programs. I was just carried away in the moment. You know, that moment of magic that you have when you're on Facebook and you're comfortable and you're warm and you see this shredded body with popping quads and, you know, and a gorgeous tanned, smooth skin. And you just feel the feeling that you would imagine you would feel if you looked like that and you were in the gym squatting and you were strong and you were admired and all of these things. And you're just carried away in the moment with the uninformed optimism of what you can see in front of you. Now, what is uninformed optimism? Uninformed optimism is when all you see are the upsides of the program or the thing you're considering. All you see is the results. You see the ripped bodies, you see the six-pack abs, the popping quads, the high tight glutes, you see the girls in the sparkly bikini, you see the lovely long flowing hair on a Miami beach somewhere, you know, like doing her glute workouts in her bikini. And you imagine how you would feel to look like that and feel like that and walk like that down the beach in that bikini. And you are filled with uninformed optimism because you have none of the data of what it actually would take to get there, but you have all of the optimism and the joy that comes with the feeling you would have when you achieved it. And so you buy the program. You buy the program and you buy the dream because we all want to believe in magic. We all want to believe in magic. And yes, I want to be a better writer. I'm just looking at my notes here. This is what I said. I really, really, really want to be a better writer. I want to be a better writer more than anything. I want to write at badminton more than anything. And whenever I'm at an event, like an international event, and I'm like going up the center line and sitting trot on my beautiful big horse with my tailcoat flowing, I wish to fuck that I had practiced a little more in sitting trot over the last couple of months because, dear God, it is uncomfortable and I just feel like a sack of potatoes bouncing around on this horse. Whenever I watch it back, I don't look like a sack of potatoes, but I certainly feel like one. And in that moment, I wish to God that I had just practiced a little bit more. But if I'm not willing to knuckle down and make it important enough to me to follow through on the things that I say I'm going to do, then I am never going to be the writer that I want to be. But the problem is you and me, well, me, definitely, maybe you, if you can relate to some of what I'm saying. Whenever we see these programs on Facebook and we see these people that have obtained and achieved these amazing things with their horses or with their bodies or with their businesses, we are filled with hope that this is the program that will get us there. As if the program contains some kind of magic, something special, a je ne sais quoi that is going to propel us in the direction of where we want to go. And maybe this Kim Constable person, maybe she's successful, right? She's built this multi-million-dollar global business. She's competed, many times as a bikini athlete on the world stage. She's ridden horses internationally. She's a highly successful person. I mean, surely if I buy her program and I'm close to her and I just have a little bit of, what she's got, well, then surely I can have the success that she will have. Because as human beings, we actually want to be associated with people who have done what we want to do. We want to be associated with people who are successful in an area that we want to be successful in because we hope that a little bit of their magic will rub off on us, okay? But really, as kids, we genuinely just want to believe in magic. But here's what I have learned from as kids? Whenever we're kids, we're taught that magic exists because of the fairy tales. Whenever we're adults, we want to believe that magic still exists. Even though we know rationally in our head that it doesn't exist, there's a little part of us wants to believe that it does. But I have realized that nothing outside of myself is ever going to force me to change. There is no magic. There is no program that is going to bang on my door or like whip open my computer and schedule time in my calendar to make me watch the videos, never mind watching the videos and then putting them into practice, because watching them isn't actually going to achieve anything if I don't start putting the lessons that I'm learning in these videos into practice. But as I was writing the notes for this, it kind of made me think, well, where does this come from? Like, why do we put all of our hopes and dreams into an online program or an online person? Why do we keep buying and buying and buying programs, buying into the dream, but not following through? And I was reminded of a time recently, very recently, where I was chatting to a good friend of mine, someone who works for me actually, and she has followed this online entrepreneur for quite a long time. Before she came to work for me, this person was kind of her idol, right? She had hankered for years after buying this person's program. Now, this person lives in America and is a mindset coach, okay? But the kind of stuff that I can see, because I looked her up afterwards, the kind of stuff that I can see that she coaches is very much based on the principles of energy. It's kind of what I would call think good thoughts and good things will happen, okay? So it's about aligning yourself. From what I can see, what this coach teaches is, and she's very, very successful, so she obviously does it very well, but what she teaches is aligning yourself energetically with the things that you want. So, I've never done her programs. I don't know, but I've just seen snippets of what she does, but it's very much in line with writing down goals and then, having like a millionaire mindset, if that's what you want, and not allowing any negativity in, really focusing with intention on what you want. And it's all this kind of stuff. So of course, a couple of years ago, I started following this person, and so her stuff pops up on my account all the time. And I see that she runs these big workshops and she has these online programs and things that you can purchase. And I often wonder, how many of the people who attend her workshops actually go on to be millionaires? And it also got me thinking, how many people who buy my programs actually go on to be successful? How many of them go on to sculpt the body of their dreams, to become get into physique athlete shape? How many of them actually achieve what it is they're going after, their six-pack abs or their glutes or their legs? And why are they not achieving them? Because I was looking at this person's recent program, and it's funny because I just remember last year she was tagging loads of people who were reposting her stories. And this year at the workshop, she was tagging the same people. And whenever I went on, I was very nosy, went on and checked out their profiles. And it didn't look to me like the people who she tagged last year and she tagged again this year that had attended a big event that she ran last November. It didn't look to me, or last year it didn't look to me that these people had become any more successful from what I could see from the social media profiles. But yet they were still there, showing up, living the dream, or, pushing for the dream, keeping the dream alive. And they were showing up every single week, which is exactly what happens with my programs. And I really thought, why? Why does this happen? Why do we do this? What is it that causes people to continually invest more money in achieving something, in the dream of achieving something they never really achieve? And I realized this. I realized that we all, me included, we all want to believe in magic, and we all want things to be easy. In fact, we want things to be easy and we want them to be cheap. Easy and cheap, that is what we quite often will market on Facebook. We market easy and cheap and people snap it up because we all want life to be easier. Why do we want life to be easier? Why do we want things to be easier? Why are we not willing to knuckle down and work for what we want? And it's a really interesting phenomenon because we actually tend to put more energy into making it easy than actually just doing the work. It's crazy whenever you think about it. And actually, I haven't even written this story down. This is completely off what I was going to teach. Well, let me tell you the other thing I was going to say first. And then I've just been reminded of a story, something that I only was aware of actually today. And what I've written here is, whenever I spoke to my friend, I said to her, I was interested. I said, what is it that you love about this coach, this online coach? And she said, I don't know. I can't. I said, no, think about it. What is it that because you followed her for a while. And even though I'm always teaching, you have to show up and do the work. Like, thinking good thoughts does not mean that good things will happen. Aligning yourself with the universe, while yes, it sounds wonderful, I have never done it with intention, and I am highly successful. So I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I don't believe that just aligning yourself energetically with your higher being is enough without action to make you successful. And I'm not saying that this is what this person is teaching, but certainly I think action is necessary. And I said to her, what is it that you're going for? And she said, I think I want to believe in magic. She said, it just seems easy, what she's teaching. Think good thoughts and good things will happen. Have a millionaire's mindset and focus only on the positive, and positive things will happen. She said, it seems something very doable for me, because this person who works for me makes no secret of the fact, whenever she came to work for me, she actually chose to come to work for me. She wasn't in the process of starting her own business, but she came to work for me because she wanted to learn more. She wanted to learn from me. She wanted a mentor. And so she took the job knowing that and I knew that she may stay and she may go, she might not. She's very, very happy and she works really hard and she's a very integral part of the company. But we were both under no illusion that she might not stay. And she said, I think I want to believe in magic. She wants to be successful. She wants to be successful, but she's paralyzed knowing what to do to be successful, and many people are, because there's so many options open to her in the business world for how she can be successful. And every single one of them just looks like work. And it looks like work because it is work, and it requires sacrifice and it requires effort. And this person will openly admit that she has discovered through working with me and working with a company coach that she is comfort driven. She just wants to be comfortable. So although she wants to be successful, she wants to be comfortable more than she wants to be successful. So this mindset coach promises her the dream, the magic, that all she has to do is think good thoughts and align herself with the universe, and everything she's ever wanted will flow to her. And it just seems so easy. But I know, and you know, that it's not that easy. And I think in her deep inner heart, this person also knows that it's not easy. And she said to me, I know that it's not as easy as that because I watch you work every day. But there's still a part of me that wants to believe that it is easy. And that's why I follow this person, because it seems easy. And that actually reminds me now of a story that I was chatting with one of the girls in the office here earlier, and we were having a laugh about, like I said, everyone in the company works with a company coach, and we all have these realizations about ourselves, and nobody has any ego. So one of the people who works for me came in and she was like, oh my God, like I totally realized that I am, she was like, I can't even remember the exact words. It was something, she was messaging me the other day. I was actually howling in laughter. It was like, I am a shallow bimbo who just wants to be admired and taken care of. Like, she made like that. I was in absolute stitches. And I said, that is hilarious. I love that. And she was like, yep, that's all I want. I just want someone to take care of me. And I just want to be admired and good looking. And I basically want to do fuck all with my life. I just want to be taken care of. And I said, that is such a good realization. And it really made me think back to younger me. Whenever I was in my 20s, I used to only date, not only, but I would have looked for rich men, because actually I always wanted to be successful. Always wanted to be successful. I didn't want to be successful. I wanted to be rich when I was younger. And I didn't want to be rich for shallow reasons. I wanted to be rich because I wanted to feel safe and taken care of. And a lot of things happened in my childhood that made me be fearful of not having money, and or the belief that without money you were unsafe was formulated when I was a child. So for me, money equated safety. So whenever I grew up, I just wanted to be safe. And I thought that if I was rich, I would be safe. So I used to spend my entire time dating rich men, or men certainly that I perceived, they didn't even have to be super rich, but I definitely dated rich men that I believed would take care of me. And we were laughing about this in the office. And I was saying to this person, I was like, you have no idea how many ugly men I have slept with in my life who were really rich. She was pissing herself laughing. And I was like, it's so true. Like literally, I have shagged so many ugly men who were absolutely stinking rich, because I believed that in some way they would take care of me. Now, this is the Kim many, many years ago, not recently, but I'm not ashamed to admit it, right? Because wanting to be taken care of there's nothing bad about wanting to be taken care of. It comes from a deep insecurity that we build whenever we're children, or that we create whenever we're children. And the more you can be truthful and real about who you are and what it is you're actually going for, the more likely you are to be able to change. So, and you know me, I just say it all on this podcast. So anyway, we were laughing about this, but it made me realize, I said, and you know what, whenever I first married Ryan, I got together with Ryan. Ryan he had just started his own business. He used to be a very successful rugby player. He certainly wasn't wealthy, but he was very good with money. He still is. He had a really good income. He had a beautiful apartment, a really nice car. Like, he obviously could take care of himself, and he'd just started a company which was starting to do well. And whenever I met Ryan, and I fell pregnant after only 2 weeks, some would say I trapped him. I didn't intentionally trap him, but looking back now, definitely I may have made the decision to be taken care of by this man. We're 20 years married, very happily, I can say. So definitely worked out for me. But I remember, I was saying that whenever I married Ryan, or I got together with Ryan, he told me, he uttered those magic words to me, which was, I don't care if you never work another day in your life. I just want to take care of you and our children. And I was like, oh, whenever like the heavens open, you can imagine like, oh, and the angels sing. And you're like, these were like the words that literally filled my inner deficiency. The words I'd wanted to hear my entire life. This man wants to take care of me. And honestly, I was hooked. I was like, all my Christmases had come at once. I loved this man. He was beautiful. He had a great body. He wanted to take care of me. We were so well matched in terms of values and family values and worldviews, and we still are. And I just thought all my Christmases had come at once. And so I kept popping out babies, and Ryan kept working. And throughout our marriage, I just kept thinking, if only he would work a wee bit harder, or a wee bit smarter, make a wee bit more money, because, I want to be a wee bit richer than we are now, because I was still being driven by this need to be taken care of, or that money was the thing that was going to make me happy. And I was like, if only Ryan would work a wee bit harder, and, and maybe a wee bit smarter, and be a wee bit richer than he is, then, I could finally feel complete. And so I don't even remember pushing him or whatever, but I remember this being a really real thing. And I remember putting quite a lot of effort into trying to make Ryan be a bit richer for me, in terms of, I loved spending money. I was always like, if only we could go on these holidays, if only we could fly first class, if only we could have all these things. And I genuinely think that if Ryan I used to think that if he just saw my want and my need, right, that he would provide it for me. He would think, oh, I really must give Kim these first class flights. Look at her suffering. Her suffering, flying to Australia with her 4 young children. Yeah, not really suffering, Kim's little perspective is necessary here, but it was really bad for me, okay? It's 36 hours on a flight with 4 children under the age of 6. I'm going to work a bit harder so we can afford to fly her first class, right? So I would put a lot of effort into communicating my needs to Ryan, so that he would work a wee bit harder, make a wee bit more money, so that I could be richer, right? The crazy part of it is that one day I woke up and I realized that Ryan was never, ever, ever going to be able to give me what I needed. In fact, I usually laugh and say, Ryan was never going to be rich enough for me, but he hates it whenever I say that, but it's only a joke. I don't mean that, because he really was successful, is successful, far more successful than many people are. But I realized that the thing that I wanted, no one was ever, ever, ever going to give to me or bring to me. And I was just bloody well going to have to create it for myself. I was putting more effort into trying to get Ryan to make my life easier than it was to just put into making my life easier myself. And when I say easier, I wanted to have more money. I wanted to have freedom. I wanted to have a housekeeper. I wanted to have a chef. I wanted to have the freedom to take my children on beautiful holidays or to pay for language lessons, or I wanted to drive a really nice car. I wanted to fly first class. I just wanted my life to be easier, just like you want your life to be easier. We all want our lives to be easier, and we all want to believe in magic. But one day, the cold water of reality dumped over my head, and I realized my husband will never, ever, in fact, not just my husband, no one will ever be able to do this for me. Nothing outside of myself is ever going to give me the thing that I need in order to actually have what I want. Ryan's not going to give it to me. Some rich random man isn't going to give it to me. Years ago, I believed I could just marry a millionaire and be happy. Thank God that never happened. I realized one day that the only way that I was going to have everything that I wanted in my life was to work for it. And I decided to start to work for what I wanted. And that was in 2011. This is now 2023. It took me until 2017 to be successful. It took me until 2017 to launch the Sculpted Vegan. That's how long it took. Now, between 2017 and 2018, I made over $1 million in sales because I spent 6 years prepping for it and learning online marketing. But the difference was I didn't even care that it took me 6 years. I never gave up on the struggle, no matter how long it took me, because I had decided that the only way to get this fucking thing done was to do it myself. And I committed to the process, not to the dream. And I know that I've told you guys about me, wanting to go to the Marbella Club and wanting to fly first class. And these things drove me on. They were my why. And they were my why. You're right. They were the thing that kept me going, but it wasn't the only thing that kept me going. I decided that I was going to get it done. And I committed to the process. I committed to the process. And it wasn't easy, but it kind of was easy once I decided that I was going to get it done. Because every roadblock I came up against, I managed to find a way over it. Every hurdle I came up against, I managed to find my way around it. Because I wasn't chasing the end goal, I wasn't chasing the dream, only the dream, nothing that happened in the process of me being successful derailed me. Because I was committed to the process of getting it done. And this is the difference between someone who has decided that this is the thing they're going after. Because it's the decision to go after the thing, which is absolutely life-changing. And that is the thing that will keep you committed to the process. Being successful is a decision you have to make in advance of starting. Whenever I was buying those online programs for equestrianism or whatever they were, for eventing and for dressage and whatever, I never decided at any point that I was going to follow through. I bought them hoping that I would make the time, or thinking, I'll watch them this morning and I'll watch them tomorrow. And won't this be nice to watch these videos? And won't this be, help me move towards my goal? It was on a wing and a prayer. I was like, well, it's worth the $297 because I'm sure I'll learn some stuff and I'm sure I'll be able to do it and I'll be able to apply it to my writing and then I'll get better. Well, some of that may have been true, but I'm never going to get anything more out of it than I'm willing to put in. And I definitely hadn't decided that I was going to show up, follow through, apply the principles methodically, and become a better cross-country rider, or become a better dressage rider, or become a better show jumper. Because that is what it takes to actually achieve your goal. You have to decide. And when you've decided, everything else falls into place. I did this whenever I bought Amy Porterfield's program, Webinars That Convert. Once I had created the Sculpted Vegan program, the 12-month program, I knew that I needed to figure out a way to launch it, because that had been the biggest thing that I had been missing in all of my online journey, trying to make it try to be successful online from 2011, I knew I was missing a vehicle to sell because I was great at creating programs. I was just really shit at selling them. And so I bought this program, Webinars That Convert, and it was a $997 program, which I could not afford at the time. I opted in for the 12 monthly payments of $97. And because it was such a big purchase for me, I remember sitting with my finger hovering over the buy now button. And I remember it was hovering over it. And I remember closing my eyes, and I had read every detail of the sales page. I had read every single email. I had faith that Amy was going to be able to show me what to do because she was a multi-millionaire online marketer, highly successful. And I knew that if I just followed her plan, that I too could be successful because I could see how successful she was, and she had created the plan for someone to follow and do it. And as my finger hovered over that button, I said to myself, I am going to follow through. I am going to do all of the modules. I am going to commit to doing each and every module. I'm not even going to open this program and watch the video until I have scheduled time into my calendar. I am not going to move to the next module until I finished the one before. I'm not going to move to the next module until I've completed the homework for each module. And even if I did the homework and there was like a PDF and I thought it was boring and it wasn't like applicable to me, I still forced myself to do it because I had made the commitment that I was going to do it. And that was I also set a date for launch. I think I bought that program in April, and I said, I'm going to launch in October. So I have between April and October to not only do this training, but implement every single step and get shit done. I used her formula to launch as best I could. There were some things I couldn't do because I didn't have the bandwidth of the team, but I used her formula exactly as she told me to do it. I launched in October and I made $52,000 in my first launch. I put £10,000 on a credit card, $13,000 on a credit card to pay for the ads. And I made $53,000 in revenue. So I made $40,000 profit. That was the most money I'd ever made in my entire life in one go. And that was because I decided. Amy's program wasn't special. It wasn't, of course it was special. It was amazing. It was great. But it was step by step. But Amy's program didn't make me do that. I decided that I was going to show up, follow through, and do the work. And that's why I was successful. It was nothing to do with the program. Anyone can write a program. I write the most amazing programs in the world. The 4-week Shredded Body program literally is a no-fail program, but all my programs are no-fail programs. If someone just decides that they're going to show up and do it, if they decide that they're going to make time in their diary, if they decide they're going to commit to the process of learning the meal planning and learning the exercises, and they're going to show up to the training sessions, and they make room in their life for this thing that they are going to go after. And one thing that you have to remember about going after things like this is it's not what you achieve at the end of it that's important. It's who you become in the process. I actually, I'm actually going to read it here. I got an email this morning from Jordan Peterson, who I love. He is someone who I really follow online. He's one of the greatest minds of our time, as far as I'm concerned. I'm actually very friendly with his daughter, Michaela, and I've met him a couple of times, and I'm taking my son Kai to meet him at, he's speaking in Belfast in October. But he sent through this email this morning, and at the end, basically it's what I'm teaching now. And I took that as a sign from the universe that I should teach this today. But he basically just says in it, I'm going to read it to you. He said, pursue the ideal and be a beacon to the world. And basically what he's saying is, don't go after the goal, go after the person you become in pursuit of the goal. So here's what he said. Why do people not look up and move ahead? The answer is you start formulating an ideal, you formulate a judge, and it's pretty easy to feel intimidated in the face of your own ideal. So he's basically saying you create a goal, right? But as soon as you create a goal, now you start judging yourself for all of the things that you do and don't do in pursuit of that goal. He says it's really easy to destroy the ideal instead of trying to pursue it, because then you get rid of the judge. But it is way better, Lower the damn judge if it is too much. If your current ambition is crushing you, then maybe you are playing the tyrant to yourself, and you should tamp down your ambitions, not get rid of them by any stretch of the imagination, but at least put them more reasonably within your grasp. You do not have to leap from point 1 to point 50 in one leap. You can do it incrementally. And I think this is so important. I think that we set ourselves this massive goal. I want to ride at badminton horse trials. I want to be a 4-star event rider, an international dressage rider. I want to look like Kim Constable. And then we buy the program that's going to get us there. And then we're like, oh, now our inner judge comes up. Oh, well, you can't do this. Or you can't meal plan. You couldn't even show up to the gym. Oh, you failed. You didn't get out of bed at 4:30. Now, suddenly, because we want to go from 0 to 50, our inner judge comes up and starts sabotaging us all the time. So why not just lower the damn goal? Why not just say, I'm going to get to the end of the first week? Like, that's what I did with Amy Porterfield's program. I said, I'm going to finish one module and one worksheet, and then I'm going to move to the next. I didn't look at the end goal and go, right, that's it. I'm going to launch in October. I think I'm going to launch in October, but I'm going to work through this program methodically, and I'm going to get to the end of one module and one worksheet. When I have those completed, I'm going to move to the next. And I made the commitment, I'm not moving to the next one until I have the first one completed. And so I gave myself incremental steps to get there. I didn't just focus on the end result. He also says, I really like this idea. I think it's a profound idea. The process of recapitulating yourself continually. It is a Phoenix-like process. You are shedding all those elements of you that are no longer worthy in the pursuits that you are valuing. The idea is that as you do, you shape yourself ever more precisely into something that can withstand the tragedy of life and that can act as a beacon to the world. That is the right way of thinking about it. Maybe first to your friends and then to your family. Imagine being the kind of person that can withstand tragedy. Imagine being the kind of person that your friends look up to and rely on. Imagine being a beacon to the world, someone who influences others, someone who stands up for what is right and does the right thing and shows up for themselves even when it gets hard. Imagine being that kind of person. That's the kind of person you become in the pursuit of your goals. But it all starts with a decision. You have to decide that you're going to do it. And then you have to show up and do it step by step by step. So for those of you who are thinking, I would love to join this program, but I don't want to fail again. You won't fail again if you decide not to. But the question is, are you willing to decide? Are you willing to risk failure? Are you willing to risk getting there imperfectly? Are you willing to show up and do the work? Are you willing to learn more about yourself in the process, where you're strong and where you're weak? Are you willing to show up for yourself? That is really, really the question you need to ask yourself. I've written here as a final point, a plan can never make you do something you don't want to do. Amy Porterfield's course, if I had bought it and spent $1,000 on it and not done it, it wouldn't have been the course's fault. It would have been entirely my fault, but only my fault because I hadn't decided. I said, we all want to believe in magic. I blame Cinderella when the fairy godmother gave us false hope that we can become a princess by magic. It's not true. You become a princess by working your fucking ass off every single day. To change your life, all you have to do is decide. You keep wasting money on other programs because you haven't decided to finish them. But deciding is the only way to get to the end. And when you get there, you decide to keep going. It's a step-by-step process. We all want to believe in magic. Cinderella scrubbed floors and was treated like shit by her stepmother and stepsisters for many, many, many years until her fairy godmother came in and waved her magic wand, and Cinderella met the prince and then became a princess. You are the modern day version of Cinderella. You are toiling and living such a shitty life, and it's hard, and you have this crap job or this husband who doesn't value you, or an abusive mother, and you're overweight and you're unhappy and you're unhealthy, and you just, you just can't get the energy to get out of bed in the morning. There ain't no fairy godmother coming to save you. There is no fairy godmother coming to wave her magic wand and turn you into a princess. You've been sold a lie. What would have been a better fairy tale or story would have been if Cinderella had have woken up one day and decided that she was done with this shit. She wasn't putting up with her shitty stepmother anymore, and why should she be treated like a slave? And she had walked into her mother-in-law and said, or stepmother, and said, I'm not putting up with any of your shit anymore. And she had packed her bags and walked out of the bloody house. And then we had seen a story about Cinderella going and getting a job and toiling and starting a company and then working her way up through society and then maybe meeting the prince, or not, maybe just, making herself into a princess. Is that not a much better story to teach our children, do you think? Honestly, I blame Disney for so many of our fucked up attitudes, because if we were taught that there ain't no fairy godmother coming to save us, and that actually what it really required of Cinderella to become a princess was just to get up one day and decide that she wasn't taking this shit anymore, because really she just ended up still being a victim. She was a victim whenever she was when she was living with her stepmother, and then the prince came and saved her, and so we're all waiting for the prince to come and save us. The sculpted vegan program that's going to come save us, the equestrian program that's going to come save us, the business program that's going to come save us, the mentor in America who's selling think good thoughts and good things will happen is going to come save us. I'm here to tell you, princess, there ain't nobody coming to save you. I thought my husband Brian was coming to save me all those years ago, and then I realized, no, there ain't no one coming to save me. I can save me, and I'm the only person that can save me, and that is why I have built a multi-million-dollar global online business and a highly successful marriage and a massively successful team. And I'm able to ride horses and I'm able to do all the things I do in my life because I am not a victim and I am not waiting for anyone to come and save me. I saved myself. It was the best thing I ever did. And I'm here to tell you that you can save yourself too, if you will only decide. And sometimes that is the hardest part. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this masterclass, stroke podcast. Hope I gave you a wee bit of a boot up the ass, even if you don't decide to join the 4-week Shredded Body Challenge. It's totally okay. I do hope that you will decide to save yourself, though. I do hope you've realized there ain't no one coming to save you. You're going to have to save yourself. And all it takes is for you to decide. But if you do want to join the 4-week Shredded Body Challenge, if you're listening to this before September 25th, 2023, if you're listening to this after that, then unfortunately, program's closed. But I'm sure we have another one running when you're listening to this. But if you do want to join, go to thesculptedvegan.com, sign up. You only have until Sunday. When it's closed, it's closed. We have $50,000 to win, $10,000 a week and $10,000 at the end for a person who makes the biggest transformation. If you show up and decide that you're going to give it your all 1 week, that's all I ask. You can modify the program in any way you want. You can change the training. You can drop the cardio. You can do it as a build. You can eat whatever diet you want. We have so many different meal plans for you. Gluten-free, vegan, non-vegan, soy-free. The only way that you can fail on this program is if you decide not to. But if you decide that you're going to do it, I'll help you get there. But I can't do it for you. And I can't make you want it more than you want it. I wish I could. I really wish I could. I would be a billionaire if I could, but I can't. I can only do my best with these motivational, inspirational videos for you and grab you by the virtual scruff of the neck and drag you along with me. Okay, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed teaching it. I will see you all soon. Hope to see as many of you as possible inside the program because I'm going to be coaching. You like this, by the way? I'm going to be coaching every week on Zoom. So you can actually talk to me in person on a Zoom call. And I'm going to be coaching inside the 4-week Shredded Body program as well in the Facebook group. So if you like this, there's loads more where this came from. And all that's left for me is to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you for giving me your time and your attention. I love you all very, very, very much. And I appreciate every single one of you. And I will talk to you again soon on another episode of Kim Constable Podcast or here in one of the masterclasses. Have an awesome rest of the day wherever you are. And bye for now. Sending you a big, massive kiss. Bye-bye.